Hello, good morning. How are you? I'm here forcing myself to make a video. I did not want to have to come on here and apologize to all of you, but that's what I'm going to do. I never thought I would be making an apology video. I apologize for the level of torture that I put you guys through. To have to listen to my jokes, my hey Stacy, I'm doing an apology video. To have to listen to my jokes and my awesome stories. Wait, I forgot to cry. Where's some water? I just have coffee. Should I do that? A little bit of creamer. To hear that every time I make a video and know that more than likely you'll never stand up to and compare to my awesomeness. There's a little bit more. I don't know if you can. A white background for apology? Nah, I just have my crafty crap room. I need to wipe this off now. That's gross. I'm gonna have to wash my face. Yeah, basically, I made a promise to myself, a New Year's resolution, if you will, that I would at least make one video a month. I have said before that I think it was a mixture of things. I do know some things that have just made me like not want to. I do want to make content, but I'm afraid to. And I made a list of things that I'm afraid of so I can just get out of the way. One is, what if I ever have to record in a place that's not it? What if I ever do something like that? Where you see all my crap that I have. I don't want to be judged, but people are going to judge me, and I need to get over that. I'm also afraid of being a millennial and saying something cringy because despite what other things have said, I don't care. It took me about 5 years to fully digest that I was a millennial, and now they're saying I'm Generation X again, and I refuse. I thought I was Generation X for like 34 years, and then are like, no, you're a millennial. So I was like, okay, now I'm 43, so I'm there. And now it's like, no, you're the last generation of Generation X. You're the last year of Generation X. No, I'm not. Call me a Zennial, if you will. I can accept that. Grew up on Rainbow Bright. Did not see the Challenger in a classroom. Saw it at home alone in my living room alone. I mean, with me and my mom staying home alone while the other kids were at school. So I got to have a conversation about it. But also grew up in AOL chat rooms. Had my first cell phone when I was like 19, 20. I don't remember because I'm old. But I'm not old enough to be full Generation X. So if I'm a cringy millennial, I'm a cringy millennial. These are all things I'm probably just putting on myself, but I don't really care because I feel like if I say these things, let's put it out there, that no one's gonna notice what I'm, like, self-conscious about because I've already pointed it out, so there you go. Making lists, that's a thing to be. Um, I'm also, as I've said 100,000,000 times in here, I need to get over if someone I know locally finds me, because 'cause we're not gonna have the same opinions. You probably don't like me anyway. And oh well, I'll get over it. My older sister, Stacy says, found out she's a millennial and was immediately like, no way. Us kids born in the 80s are not the same as the ones born in the 90s. Yes. I didn't watch Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I was probably 18, 19 when that came out, but I'm still a millennial. I grew up on Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Veruca Salt, Fiona Apple. But as a kid, I like New Kids on the Block. Wasn't allowed to watch Michael Jackson because he grabbed his junk. So my parents are like, "Oh my God, you're gonna have a baby if you watch Michael Jackson grab his hoo ha." So, but obviously heard his music, and that's another thing. Michael Jackson's junk is a good segue for why I've been hesitant to make more videos. One, I don't really know what my thing is per se. I think I want to do one thing and then I do another and then I do another. And then I'm afraid that people aren't gonna, I'm gonna be too scatterbrained that it's like, why even watch me when you don't know what the hell I'm talking about? Which is, why you all are here. I guess that's a mystery. I guess that's where I could have people interact is what is she talking about this time? Are we ever going to figure out? Is she ever going to figure it out? No. The answer is always no. Um, but Michael Jackson's wiener. So I feel like I grew up in a weird, well, I did grow up weird, but like the Duggars and even like the Mormon stuff that's going on right now. I didn't grow up that extreme. I don't know why I feel like I don't know what to do with my hands. I definitely didn't grow up that extreme. Pardon me. But I grew up in a way where seeing, especially the Ruby, Frankie, Jody, Hildebrandt things come about, I just feel like I need to talk about to get it off my chest, but also I'm fearful if family sees this and is like upset with certain things that I say. Maybe I hurt their feelings by saying certain things. And but I want to be able to say, "Hey, Julie, how are you? I'm having a midlife crisis in a good, weird way. I don't want to leave my husband, my family, my house, my home, anything like that. I'm just going through some things. I'm in my head, man." And then another thing that's made me hesitant is, oh, you're Gen Z, Julie? That makes sense. Are you though? I feel like you're close to the same age as my niece. I think she was born in like 96 or 95. No, it was later than that. She was born in 98. I thought she was a millennial. Yeah, to find out me, 43, and my niece are like in the same thing. She's the definition of the younger kid, the kids that were born in the 90s and grew up on like Shark Boy, Lava Girl, and then me, the first generation millennial who grew up on Rainbow Bright. How are we all in the same thing? But 6-year-olds born in 2016? Yeah, I have an 8-year-old, so she's definitely an alpha. I'm telling you what, me and my husband are both sarcastic as mofos, and I'm like, I think we gotta teach her. We gotta. It's. Dare I say it's too much sarcasm, especially with kids her age. I don't think they quite get sarcasm yet, and I only typically speak in it. So, you know, it's a little too like sometimes she hurts my feelings is what I'm getting at. Sometimes she it's me. I'm the one that I'm like, please not, but seriously. So growing up with Michael Jackson's Dick, yeah, there's certain things that I don't want to talk about, or I'm afraid I'm going to hurt my family's feelings if they see this. Then another thing that gets in my head is like, oh my goodness, who do you think you are? Why do you think all these people are going to find you? But again, I had to make an apology video at the top of this stream for being like, I'm so sorry that you're in the presence of my awesomeness all the time and you'll never like add up. So obviously people are going to come once I put out more content, and then everybody will just everyone will just find me. Hey, how are you? Um, but yeah, I do kind of want to talk about certain things like I really resonated with the niece of Jody Hildebrandt, Jessie Hildebrandt, on them talking about the mind fuck that they went through. I was never captured. I was never held against my will. But certain things that I grew up with in church and even a little bit in my home, and I love my mom and dad. They're awesome people, but just some of the things that I think they kind of got brainwashed into thinking from the 80s Christian culture mindset. And again, I'm still a Christian. So it's just this weird, like, I don't ever want to be misconstrued or misunderstood that I am being hateful to anyone. You'll know when I'm being hateful. I can be and will be hateful. But two things can be the same. Like, I can love parts of how I grew up, but also hate parts of how I grew up. There can be some of Christianity that still stands true to me today, and a whole bunch of it that doesn't. And I have a lot of room to grow. There are things, even when I just use the pronoun they or them for Jessie Hildebrandt, I got to tell you, that's new for me and it's uncomfortable. Doesn't mean like, oh, I think it's wrong to, um, there's only two pronouns. Like, I want to respect people, but there's a growing space that I didn't grow up with that's confusing to me and does feel uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean I am blocking and saying I won't do something or learn or respect someone. And my mind can be changed, you know? So I guess having the freedom to be able to say things without this, not afraid of cancel culture, because bitch, I can't be canceled. Oh, famous last words, right? But I'm afraid of offending people and someone not understanding that I'm the type of person, like if I say the they them confuses me, talk to me, teach me, give me the grace and the space to be able to say shit that maybe doesn't sound right because I need to want to learn. Thanks. Coffee sip. I If you're just coming in, this is my my craft room, and I'm using you guys as my diary to talk about all the things that I've been uncomfortable with making videos. Ooh, and I have a big last one, and it kind of ties into what I think might be going on in with some of the people that we've all known, still know, maybe know. I don't know. There was a song going in my head, and then I just stopped it. When we all went through, I don't even want to say the person's name, but I'm going to, because I hate when people do videos and they're like, you won't say their name, but yet you go on for 20 minutes. The Nat situation. And I didn't talk to this person, but I'm talking about like the chain of events, um, you know, 5 degrees or whatever it is, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon through this whole experience. Finding other people, finding people like Aaron, and I will not say the person, but those familiar know there is a person who I'll just use CC for now, who made threats on myself and my family's life. Um, being stalked, I think, and being either like words online don't necessarily hurt me, but the degree to which people will, again, find people, I've said all this before, pretty repetitive, but that really opened my eyes to how much somebody will do for so very little. Meaning, I corrected someone's grammar in a chat and they threatened me and my family's life and said, hey, if anybody can find her, I'll pay you. That made me so fearful for like, for doing any more videos. And I really used to like collaborating with people, but then of course we found out some people were cuckoo cuckoo, quite a few people. And it's easier for me to get a sense of people when I'm in person with them. But I mean, we all know, don't want to hurt her feelings, but um Claire, I sat there and talked to her for a good year before I figured out that um maybe she wasn't a person that homegirl's got some issues. Sorry, Claire. But I can't be online all the time to figure out who's connected with whom and who has said what in the past to know if me doing like having somebody on panel and us talking about a show or an issue or whatever the hell we want to talk about, if they're scary and psychotic. And but again, I got to get over it. These are things that's just risks of being on here, and I really do enjoy being on here. I mean, look at me, I'm incredible. I like sharing my opinions, I like having fun, I like goofing off, and I like you guys being my emotional support and a diary for me. So nothing like not wanting to be stalked and then putting all your feelings online, right? There's a garbage truck going by. I don't know if you can hear it. So I say fuck that and do it anyway. Okay. Probably really could have heard that. But um question. Does anyone know? And I don't, if you need to message me, please do. Not to be like Megan about this, but hey, Zip your lip. You don't have lips, you're a dog. But hey, this bitch, right? So, Steph TXMA, and then I saw something with like Callista. I can't figure out. It was someone, was the things that Steph is going through, somebody, did one of our people or somebody online do something to Steph? And I'm confused. So if anybody can help me understand, that'd be amazing. Like you guys always do. Probably like, God damn it, we got to explain something to her again. But if it is something that happened online, I'm I mean, I like Steph anyway from what I've seen online. Sometimes she yells a little too much for me, but hey, we all have our things. I'm really proud that she consistently stuck to her guns and plane going overhead. I get distracted. Um, we online shouldn't have to have our families exposed and feel like, hey, if I walk outside, is someone gonna? I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. I do this for a hobby. I even if I did or even if I didn't, people bigger shouldn't have to feel like this either. But I got to tell you the things that I went through um, the other year with that person attached to Aaron telling me he was going to find people, or if asking other people to find me. The things that we saw Nat do to other people, it like got me really in my head and really like, oh my gosh, if people want to find you, they can find you. And like, what if I'm just walking down the street? Or what if I don't know, it just had me not like where I couldn't get out of the house, but it just had me thinking. And I shouldn't, nobody should have to feel that way because they're online just talking. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to put this up here. Okay, Villanova, Stefan Calista, and Just Ann. I don't know who Just Ann is. Filed a TRO against someone for doxing, harassing them. Okay, cool. That went through, and they're protected. Steph got granted a full. Awesome. Ann goes to court tomorrow. I don't know who Ann is. Sorry. She got a protective order against the pig pen. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's another person. Like, I quite frankly, I've said this 100 times. I don't understand why anybody's ever engaged with those people. I don't. It's not fun and games. They're doing stuff like this. Like but that's just me. But I can still not engage with people and just again be snarky and sarcastic and correct someone's grammar online, and they can ask people to find my information. So she got to pretend he wasn't able to delete the proof and get away with it since Steph has shown. Okay, awesome, cool. Yeah, I saw a very short snippet of something she did last night, maybe. Um, and I understood maybe why she wasn't saying people's names, but it was also hard for me to follow along, and I didn't finish. I only watched like a minute of it, um, simply because I couldn't follow along because I didn't know who it was about or what the situation was about. But I think I heard her say like, "Yeah, don't don't engage. Just do what you got to do in real life behind the scenes," and that's what I did a couple years ago. So, but it still shouldn't have to come to that. And I'm just kind of glad that someone was able to protect themselves that way. It was taken seriously. We shouldn't feel harassed. Um, and that she spoke out about it in a way where hopefully that will feel make other people feel comfortable in doing the same. Like I felt a little dramatic, I guess, if you will, for even saying that the Christ person's comments and threats like made me nervous, but they did. He was at the time on the East Coast. I was on the East Coast. Um, he seemed like an unhinged person. So, um, her speaking out made me feel like I'm not being overly dramatic for doing something similar for threats that made me and my family pretty uncomfortable. See, they said they recorded the hearing because even though Massachusetts is two party, they're in a state that's one party. Oh, yeah, maybe I need to know. I don't know what hearing you're talking about. And maybe that's not for like, if she's already talked about this publicly, then perhaps, but yeah, Cece got ran off from that woman's house by her family and is now over there alone. I hope he's not harming anybody over there either. I don't get it. Again, another person, I feel like dumb. It was fun to like, I think the first time I ever talked to him was I was on a panel on Aaron's channel and he was talking too. And it was silly, stupid. Maybe we were making fun of KJ, whatever. Um, and I thought he was funny. And then it's like, oh, wow, you're crazy. Piggy's went live like 4 times after this was granted, talking all about it. Talking about their restraining order? People are insane. But people should feel comfortable to get on here and say they don't like someone's perspective, they don't like someone's face, um, and not feel like their life is going to be harmed. And I'm kind of jokingly with the face thing, like, I don't know. Not everyone's going to like everyone's face, you know what I mean? And I'm comfortable with people poking fun at me as well. I feel like this is not going how I thought, how I intend. People are allowed to have opinions, and people are allowed to have opinions that hurt your feelings, hurt my feelings. You shouldn't then threaten someone, threaten someone's life, threaten someone's livelihood just because they said, I think your makeup look ugly, or your one eye is twitchy, or you're missing a tooth. There you go. Yep, about how the judge took their constitutional rights away. I think he sounds like the judge just upheld someone else's rights. He said he was wrong because the court system is prejudiced against men. Yeah. What is this equivalent to? I don't even know if Star Magazine is around anymore, but something like that. It's attention seeking, um, saying shocking things to have engagement. And viewership. The only thing that ever made me mad about them was going after people in real life and making them feel threatened or that there's potential to be harmed. So, not saying that other people don't have a right to feel shocked or offended by what they say, but it's difficult for me to be shocked and offended by something someone is saying when I don't believe they even think or believe that thing. I think they're just saying it to get attention. So that's that. But I think someone up here, when I was talking about how I grew up, let me see. Said something kind of kind. Not kind of kind. Said something kind. Villanova, I think it's healthy to look critically at the belief system you were raised. Yes. Pardon me. I do too. And that also is one of the things we weren't really allowed to do. I say we, when I say we and how I grew up religious wise, it's not just my family unit, it's the church that I grew up in and the culture that I grew up in, because I was raised in the deep South. You could have just assumed everyone was some sort of Southern Baptist or equivalent where I grew up. So just the culture of the area geographically that I grew up in, everyone pretty much had the same mindset. So it's not me just, when I say we, specifically talking about my parents. I remember being at like a girls' youth sleepover thing with our female youth leader, and me singing something. I don't even really remember. It was something like, oh, being goofy and stupid and like, and they're like, God, God only, it's like God's only serious. He's only like, you can't talk like that about Christianity and you can't joke about Christianity. And I'm like, what? Dude, if God created me, what you're saying he did, uh, pretty sure he's got some jokes. He knows me. If he loves me, um, then they knew what they were getting into. And not only that, I I I would assume, like, I like my kid. I created both my kids. They do funny stuff. Sometimes they do a little stuff that I'm like, hey, like telling me I need to go back and brush my hair because it looks like I woke up from a nap, even though it was the middle of the day. But I laugh at what they say. I want to enjoy. I'm going off on a tangent. My point is, God likes me and thinks I'm funny. And if I crack a joke about Christianity, he probably thinks that's funny too. And that wasn't even a bad one. That wasn't even a dark sense of humor Christian joke. So, everyone is basically a Southern Baptist, yes. To the point I was a teen before I realized that everyone grew up like this. Yes, me, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't even know there were different types of Christianity. What did we have? We definitely had a bazillion Baptist churches, and we had one, wasn't Methodist, First Assembly of God or something. But really, I was just Baptist where I grew up. I moved up here to South Carolina. I went to a Presbyterian church. I literally was like, whoa, when, like, the choir's back behind you in, like, a balcony and whatever, I was like it was like I'd never been to church before, and then when we repeated things back to each other, I'm like, "Oh, shit, what are we" like, so awkward, so uncomfortable, I didn't know what to do, and I'm like, I didn't think this was Catholic," and people are like, "It's not Catholic." I'm like, "It's just about Catholic to me. We don't have call and repeat stuff in Baptists, especially not white Baptist." White Baptist, we just sat there and tried not to fall asleep. And we didn't dance because that was a sin and would get you pregnant. Yeah. So again, not Duggar, not Mormon. Mormonism, man, that seems like something I'm glad I was never exposed to. And one Pentecostal church, but everyone treated them like they were Amish. Yes, that was like the snake handling. I know, like, when I moved up here to South Carolina, again, it's so weird because it's both Southern but different kinds. It was like, oh, people down there, like the snake handler stuff down there in the deep South. I'm like, no, that was like the Pentecostal people, which is funny because in South Carolina, I've primarily gone to Pentecostal churches because they make me feel more comfortable and no snakes, unfortunately. That was devastating. Thought I was gonna get to pet something, but nope. Um, yeah, the churches up here, man, they scare me. Um, they're definitely a lot of them are just social, keeping up with the Jones type situations, no matter if it's small, big church, whatever. Um, yeah. Um, like I said, I've been in more Pentecostal churches here, more non-denominational, but since the pandemic, we haven't really gone to church because, yeah, the pandemic showed me that there's a lot of super scary Christians out there, and no, no, all kinds of no. And then the churches that we did go to had like two national scandals, so I was kind of like, okay, try somewhere else, but we never did. It's difficult to find a place that will, oddly enough, accept my son. Isn't that weird? I thought Jesus accepted everyone. Well, not in kids' church, not when you have a disability. It's not the case. It's a liability. Okay, but then why did you spend so much money building a new cafe when you could have just hired a part time nurse? Or let me bring my son's aide with him. Nope. Jesus don't like that. Anyhow, um, that's about all of that for now, I think. I'm gonna continue to put myself out there, continue to show you my crap room. My daughter, when she was little, she'd always, Mommy, are we gonna do crap? I'm like, you gotta go to the bathroom? No, craps. You're crap. And I'm like, what crap? I crap my pants? I don't remember crap in my pants. I am a little sleep deprived, so I don't know. She's like, no. We come in here and she showed me my craft room. I'm like, so you're calling my stuff crap. But anyhow, the more I do this, the more I do this. And that's all. Sorry, I'm trying to read your comments too. The Duggars are IFB. It broke from Southern Baptist because they thought Southern Baptist was too liberal. Yeah, and one of the, what is it? Happy Shining People, Happy Smiley, whatever, the Duggar documentary on Amazon, I think. That one really had me going, what? And at that time, you know, algorithm doing its thing, it showed up in my TikTok a lot, and a lot of people going, oh my God, did I grow up IFB and didn't realize it? because there's one dude, and I'll have to get into it, that was like linked to like, I think Awanas, which was like a, what, after, like on Wednesday nights, I think, like a church club for kids. Not quite youth group, but I don't, not quite Sunday school. And you had things to, goals to reach, Bible verses to memorize, um, different things, and you get prizes. It was almost like Boy Scouts for church. That's more like what it was, even though I've never attended Boy Scouts or brownies or anything like that. I'm hungry. But you, I believe it was the dude, somehow, again, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Um, Focus on the family. That was one of the things. I'm like, bitch, we listened the shit out of that stuff growing up. I even feel like it came in like a Wendy's Happy Meal one time, like a cassette tape of like Focus on the Family stories and um different things where I was like, oh wow. And the whole thought process of the man's the head of the household. Women are down here and they gotta listen to. It's not that I don't believe men should be respect well, sometimes they should be disrespected. But there's a lot with that thought process where I'm like, my husband and I have had a lot of growth individually and as a couple, where of course I want to honor my husband. I want to honor any person. I want to not be a jerk to any person. I want to listen and consider their opinion, thoughts, and feelings on everything. That doesn't have to mean mine doesn't carry equal weight. And before, I actually used to think it didn't. My poor husband. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't have to be this extremism, basically. Just a lot to consider and to think about. That was a little shocking and somewhat difficult to process, of that being loosely affiliated, again, like 80s Christianity, that's what I'm calling it, was at least 2 steps away, if not 1 step away from IFB. I keep calling it IVF. That's where you try to get pregnant, right? Have I been calling it IVF this whole time? Is IVF where you try to get pregnant? Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for talking. Hope you have a good day. And I'll see you around, maybe, if you're lucky.